Cecil Bigalong gave me the thumbs up. All the electronics is on? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Okay, we are on.
Showtime. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First order of business, as usual, is adopting the minutes of the last meeting. Does anyone have any comments or corrections about it before we adopt them? Is there a motion to adopt? It's unanimous, and they're adopted. Department of Buildings, as everybody knows, there was this little incident a couple of blocks north of here not too long ago when this monster crane came down and created a big mess. A lot of it, the mess was at New York Law School where they damaged the front of the building, and unfortunately 2 people were injured and 1 person was killed. And as part of an initiative, as a result of that, Buildings Department is making some fast-track changes to some of its penalty schedule things. And in order to avoid complications, we are fast-tracking it as much as we can. And I believe the Buildings Department is ready to tell us what they're up to, what they're asking us to do.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board and also audience members. My name is Shalonda Graham, and I'm the Executive Director of the Department of Buildings Administrative Enforcement Unit. Today, the department is asking that the Environmental Control Board approve increases to 3 of our fines and to add 2 new fines to our DOB penalty schedule. Since 2009, we've all noticed our city changing, construction increasing as development increasing. In fact, it's increased by 300% over the last six years. As a matter of fact, a little more than that. In addition to this increase in construction, we've also seen an increase in construction-related accidents, all the way up to 98%. As a result, the department is asking that the board approve these changes because we'd like to send a message of zero-tolerance policy to those who choose to inadvertently or even intentionally violate or abuse the regulations as it relates to safety at construction sites. In those cases, they put the public, property, us, and everything in danger. So because the mayor did put out some press releases back on February 12th and 7th, we're also asking that this, as the commissioner noted, be promulgated with the finding of substantial need for earlier implementation. Attached to your presentations, you will find the details of this request, which outline the penalties and the default penalties for the request.
Any questions? In sync with that, I have asked that there be a draft already prepared for our consideration to publish. And I'll ask Dennis Bogan to present that. Thank you. This is the fast track, and we're putting 2 things that would normally a month apart and doing them together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dennis Bogan. I'm the Assistant General Counsel here at Oak at the General Counsel's Office. And as the Commissioner indicated, for these proposed additions and changes, they are being fast-tracked. Just to follow up on Shamanda's presentation, the Environmental Control Board proposes to amend its DOB penalty schedule, which is Section 3-103 of Subchapter G of Chapter 3 of Title 48 of Rules of the City of New York. And in your packet, you'll see the proposal is to add 2 new sections in Section 28-201.1 New York City Administrative Code. Class 1 and Class 2, and both described as unlawful acts, failure to comply with a law, rule, or commissioner's order involving construction and or equipment safety operations. And the provided for penalties are there in the chart. The second section is going to amend or proposal is to amend 3 existing sections, and these are section 3-103, subchapter G of chapter 3 of Title 48 of the Rules of the City of New York. Specifically, there's 3 sections, Building Code 3316.2 and Building Code 3319.1, Class 1, Building Code 3301.2, Class 1, and Building Code 3301.2, Class 2. The first one, with respect to the first one I mentioned, it's inadequate safety measures, operation of crane, derrick, hoisting equipment in unsafe manner, and the proposed penalties are there underlined. And Class 1 of Building Code 3301.2 is failure to safeguard all persons and property affected by construction operations, and you can see in your chart the proposed penalties there. And Class 2 is the same violation description. I should note these increases are within the statutory authority of the Department of Buildings, and there's a finding of substantial need, and we received certification, which you should have in your packets, from the Mayor's Office of Operations and also the Law Department. Are there any questions?
Hi, Elizabeth Nauer, citizen member. Just so I understand, what is the purpose of adding the 2 new sections?
Shimon, do you want to? Yeah.
Yes, the purpose of adding the 2 new sections is to delineate safety-related violations, meaning we already have a code that covers violating the commissioner's order. This in particular will be related to safety-related orders.
So it's a higher
It's a
penalty for
higher
safety-related?
penalty. Yes, absolutely.
Which makes a lot of sense, I think.
Any further questions? I thank you.
Is there a motion? I think it's unanimous with 1 abstention. Thank you. Russell isn't here yet, so he's probably somewhere in the glorious IRT. Like that guy in Boston that got stuck. Forever. Yes. So I'll just move his thing towards the end and ask Kelly Corso to give us preceding reports.
Good morning, Kelly Corso, Assistant Director for OPCD. We have 12 concealing reports this morning, and we have 6 that pertain to air code violations, and we have 5 that pertain to backflow violations, and just 1 pertaining to a noise code violation. The air code cases, the hearing officers recommend no further action or sealing. They will be respondents' proof of valid operating certificates that were presented at the hearings. In the noise code case, the hearing officer recommends that the COD be discontinued based on DEP's finding that the respondent no longer owned the property. In 4 of the 5 backflow cases, the hearing officers recommend no sealing or further action based on the respondent's evidence of compliance presented at the hearings. And in the remaining backflow case, the hearing officer recommends no further sealing or any other action based on a recent inspection by DEP showing that the site premises no longer requires backflow prevention device. That's it. Any questions?
Motion? Unanimous? Thank you. Is there a motion to go into executive session? We're going into executive session. Is there anybody up there?
There's no one.
Well, sometimes I don't mind feeling unwell. Is there a motion to affirm the appeals decisions that we heard in executive session? It's unanimous, thank you. And swinging back to item 4 on the agenda, the request for cease and desist orders by DEP.
Okay, good morning. This month, DEP is asking the board to issue one cease and desist order under the noise code. This is for Empire Biscuit, which is located at 198 Avenue A in Manhattan. This is a restaurant. It has been cited 3 times for noise from the kitchen exhaust. And due to its continuing failure to come into compliance with the noise code, DEP is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
Any questions?
Thanks.
Is there a motion? It's unanimous with 1 abstention.
Okay. DEP also has 2 requests this month for cease and desist orders under the sewer code. The first one is 7 Express Restaurant Corp. at 13542 Roosevelt Avenue in Queens. On this one, the initial inspection found that they had an improperly functioning grease interceptor due to a broken baffle. So they were issued a violation and ordered to properly maintain the grease interceptor. A subsequent inspection a week later resulted in a commissioner's order directing them to replace that grease interceptor. They have failed to comply with, as you can see, a long series of commissioner's orders and notices of violation over a period of several months. And due to their continuing failure to come into compliance with the sewer code, DEP is requesting that the board issue an order to cease and desist.
Question? Motion? Again, it's unanimous with 1 abstention.
Okay. And the second one is Happy Restaurant at 40-28 Main Street in Queens. On this one, a series of orders have been issued requiring them to install grease interceptors on a wide variety of different equipment. Several sinks, several woks, several floor drains, trench drains, a roasting room, and none of these orders to install grease interceptors have been complied with. In addition, in November, an inspection observed them actually discharging grease directly into the public sewer. So based on their failure to come into compliance with all of these orders and NOVs that have been issued, DEP is requesting that the board issue an order to cease and desist.
Questions? Motion? Again, unanimous with 1 abstention.
Okay. And finally, DEP has 28 requests for cease and desist orders under the water code for failing to install backflow prevention devices. In each of these cases, the building owner has been ordered to install the required devices. When they have failed to do so, they've been issued a notice of violation, which has been adjudicated against them, and they are still not in compliance, so the department is asking the board to issue orders to cease and desist.
Questions? Motion? Unanimous with 1 abstention.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one final item. I have a letter here from Mayor de Blasio that I am going to read into the record. It is addressed to Robert Carver, and it says, "Dear Mr. Carver, on behalf of the City of New York, I would like to thank you for your service on the New York City Environmental Control Board. I commend your dedication and benefit you have brought to our city as you conclude your tenure on the Environmental Control Board. Sincerely, Bill de Blasio, Mayor." Actually, that's slightly, I think, premature because he's now going to go and play in the loft board, which has got some interesting things coming down the pike. He's been an attorney with the city of New York before. He's now with Emmett, Marvin, and Martin. And hopefully you will continue to have fun, or have more fun there. And stick around after we adjourn the meeting, please.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.